You can buy a $2,000 mattress, a sleep tracker, blackout curtains, and a white noise machine and still wake up feeling like you've been run over by a cart. Meanwhile, a person in the Middle Ages, with no electricity, no air conditioning, and certainly no memory foam, could sleep deeply and wake up aligned with the day. The strangest part is that they didn't try harder. They simply didn't sabotage the signals your body uses to sleep. Modern life is engineered for convenience. Bright light is available at any hour. Screens are inches from our faces until the final seconds before we close our eyes. Our homes hold a steady temperature that barely changes, and food is always within reach, even at midnight. Yet the body wasn't designed for an always-on world. It was designed for rhythm. So when you feel exhausted but can't fall asleep, or you sleep for 8 hours and still feel unrefreshed, it may not be a willpower problem. It may be a signal problem. To understand what medieval people did differently, you don't need to romanticize their lives. You don't need to pretend you want a drafty room, a smoky hearth, or a schedule ruled by the sun. What you do need is to notice how their everyday constraints created powerful cues for the brain and body cues that told them, with surprising clarity, when it was time to rest. 3 of those cues matter most: light, warmth, and the way sleep itself can come in phases. In the Middle Ages, darkness wasn't a switch you flipped. It was a ritual you slid into. When evening arrived, the world didn't merely dim the way a modern home dims at the press of a button. It became genuinely dark. Their main sources of light were flame candles, hearths, oil lamps, small, warm, flickering, and limited. Compare that to a modern night. You might turn off the ceiling light, then immediately stare into a phone that blasts your eyes with daylight. Or you keep the room bright because you're not sleepy yet, as if sleepiness must arrive first before darkness is allowed. But the body doesn't work that way. You don't get sleepy and then turn down the lights. You turn down the light, and then your body allows sleep. Your brain treats light like a command. Bright light says, "It's daytime, stay alert." Low, warm light says, "Night is here, shift into repair mode." Medieval life got something right by accident. It naturally created a slow descent into night. The light grew weaker as the evening progressed. People moved closer to the hearth. They stopped doing tasks that demanded sharp focus. Evening wasn't a second daytime. It was a transition. And transitions matter, because sleep is not just the absence of wakefulness. It is a physiological state that the body enters when it receives the right signals. But darkness is only half the story. Even if you make your room perfectly dark, another signal can keep you awake: temperature. Modern advice often treats sleep like a climate control problem. People chase the perfect room temperature and assume the bedroom must be tuned like a laboratory. Medieval people couldn't do that. Their rooms were drafty, walls were cold, and winter was not a cozy aesthetic, it was a threat. So instead of warming the whole space, they focused on warming the sleeper. They used layers: wool, linen, heavy quilts, shared warmth, sometimes bed curtains to trap heat close to the body, sometimes simple heat sources tucked near the bedding. This wasn't luxury, it was strategy. And the strategy aligns with something your body already knows. You fall asleep best when your core temperature can gently drop, while your skin and extremities feel safe and warm. That's why warmth before bed can feel sedating. It isn't that heat knocks you out like a hammer. It's that warming your body creates a slope after you warm up. Your system releases heat, and your internal temperature slowly declines, like a natural glide path into sleep. In a medieval routine, people often warm themselves before bed by the fire, by wearing insulating layers, by staying close to others, by letting warmth soak in before the cold room ever had a chance to bite. Then they crawled into bedding designed to hold a stable pocket of warmth, even when the air around it stayed chilly. A modern bedroom can actually be too stable. With constant heating or constant cooling, you remove contrast, you remove slope, and you remove one more signal that tells the body, night is here. Let go. This is why the goal isn't simply make the room comfortable. The goal is to create a warm, protected microclimate in the bed, while allowing the broader environment to feel like night. Warm the body before sleep for a few minutes. Warm socks, a warm shower, a brief session under a heated blanket, then let the bed do the insulating work. If your feet are cold, your sleep will fight you. Warm feet often equals faster sleep. Not because you're pampering yourself, but because you're delivering a message the nervous system understands. Safe, contained, ready. The third medieval lesson is the one that makes modern people nervous. Waking up in the middle of the night. Today, we treat it like a malfunction. You wake at 2 a.m. and instantly, your mind leaps to diagnosis and fear. Something is wrong. You're ruined. Tomorrow is broken. But for many people in the past, waking during the night may have been a normal part of sleeping in long, dark evenings. Sleep could come in two phases: a first sleep, then a quiet waking period, then a second sleep. Not because they were defective, but because their nights were truly night dark, quiet, and low stimulation. Even if your life doesn't allow a perfect historical pattern, the principle is useful. Waking up is not automatically the enemy. What destroys sleep is what we do next. We wake, and we inject the brain with daytime bright light, phone screens, time checking, notifications, and the sharp spike of anxiety. Then we teach the body that wake-ups are emergencies. The body learns quickly, and soon it starts to anticipate the panic. A brief waking turns into a long one. A medieval response to nighttime waking would be simple. Keep stimulation low. Don't flood your eyes with bright light. Don't check the time, and turn sleep into a performance. Breathe slowly. Relax the jaw. Let thoughts drift instead of gripping them. If you need something to do, choose something gentle and boring: quiet reading, soft stretching, calm reflection, anything that feels like night rather than like an extension of the day. The point is not to force sleep, but to remain in the environment where sleep returns on its own. When you put these three lessons together, you get a routine that doesn't require you to live like a monk, but does ask you to respect biology. Create a sunset indoors by dimming lights and using warm lamps in the last hour before bed. Reduce daytime inputs: intense tasks, stressful conversations, fast-paced videos, so your nervous system can downshift. Warm the body briefly, then let your bed become a stable pocket of warmth while the room stays slightly cooler. And if you wake at night, don't treat it like failure. Treat it like a transition. Medieval sleep wasn't better because they had better technology. It was better because their lives produced stronger signals, and your body is hungry for those signals. Try this for 3 nights, not forever. Just 3. See what changes first. Falling asleep faster, fewer long wake-ups, or a morning that finally feels like it belongs to you. Because sometimes the future of better sleep looks suspiciously like the past.